Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Weekly Collective. I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh. I hope everybody is doing great today. This reading, as always, is going to help us navigate through not only the week ahead, but also a special topic. I really like what you guys chose today. It's basically a little bit of wayfinding, deciding, are we on the right path? Is there anything that you need to pay more attention to? Is there something that's opening up that you haven't seen? So this is a very good check-in. And I think because we're right here in the very beginning of retrograde, it's good to make sure that there's no unfinished business, and I'm happy to be able to guide you there today. So every week we start off with some channel messages, look at a 7-day forecast, check in quickly on the signs, and then get into that special topic. It's a lot at once, but it will be fun and it flows well. So grab a cup of coffee, sit back, relax. Apollo's doing exactly that, freshly groomed, holding some space for all of us today. All right, so let's get into the channeled messages first and foremost. So I had this is my favorite type of dream, especially when I'm kind of lucid dreaming, but what I saw was, I had the feeling of flying, which I liked. It was joyful, it was liberating, it was easy. And because I can sometimes lucid dream, when I was in the dream, I knew that I was dreaming, but I just kind of like went with it. So the next week, the next chapter, because it doesn't have to just be this 7-day period, it should feel easier to you. This is one of your first wayfinding messages, your first internal compasses. If you feel like there's too much friction, if you feel like something isn't happening, despite the fact that you're giving it your best, that you're doing what you need to be doing, let that be a subtle nudge to explore what else is out there. One of the things that really struck me about the flying feeling was just that it was fun, liberating, free. So if you've been carrying a heavy burden, if you've been focusing so much on all these other things, when you finally give yourself a moment to just sort of like breathe and let go, it can be very freeing too. So getting the pressure off your shoulders, literally, figuratively, whatever you're holding on to, I think that's really, really important. Okay, so even though I was flying, I did see a couple of points where you have to focus. And both of them had to do with like finances or resources. So for one of them, there was a chance to see if you were paying too much and it was ignored. And I really think that it would have been prudent to not ignore that, just to kind of take a moment to check in. So if you're not the kind of person that enjoys putting together a budget, it still may be worth your energy. Likewise, if you haven't looked at your schedule for a moment and asked yourself, why am I doing that? And it could be anything from volunteer work to a job to activities. Sometimes we just fill up our schedule too much, and we've been doing it for a while, but it's not resonating. Take a moment and think, is it costing more or am I saving? Like, what's going on? So the expenditure of time, energy, money. And then I also saw, it's kind of like an old-fashioned photo booth, but the money portion of it was kind of broken. And I watched as someone kind of tried to take out the coins and put them back in, but it didn't work. So what I got from that also is you can't throw money at a situation. If something's broken, it's broken. So that's a really powerful message, actually. If, let's say, you can't throw money at a friendship or love situation to try to fix it if there's something below the surface that needs to be healed. Money is just a material thing, and it doesn't have value unless you ascribe value to it. And there could be someone in your life that feels like that's not enough, or there's someone that's trying to take, but it's never enough. So the money portion shouldn't be it. It has to go deeper than that. And then I think it could have been saved or averted if we looked at the first kind of guidepost, because I just wanted to get back to flying, but I had these like two money or schedule or resource things that were kind of getting in the way. And I never got to take that picture. And so that is about being present. One thing that like back in the day, my mom was always keen on taking pictures. I just wanted to enjoy the situation. Neither of us was wrong. There's a mix of the two, but I'd always prefer a moment over a photo. And so I think it's really important to look at it not from the optics, like how others are looking at it, not how it looks, but how it feels. So you can't throw money at a situation. optics are really only skin deep. It's like a photo. You don't know what's going on beneath that print of paper. And we need to go a little bit deeper, and that's what we'll be doing today. But I did get this feeling of freedom, easiness, liberation, flying. So I actually feel like you're on the precipice of a good shift, a good turn. We just need to make sure that you don't get anchored, literally anchored down. That was one of the choices. It kind of came through in the channel messages. But I'll try my best today to help you stay on track, and we're going to look at this journey together. Okay, we're going to start off first with a very tactical and practical, like I said in the daily 7-day forecast, to see what's coming forth. Again, so you have that feeling of being prepared. All right, so take a moment if you haven't already, close your eyes, and I'd like you to tune in. Let go of anything heavy or anything that you're like worrying about. It has no purpose here. It's not going to help out. All right. Draw a circle of light around your body. Set an intention that you are protected within that space. Let's welcome in angels, spirit guides, and ascended masters. All right, so let's begin with the energy of today, and it's quite beautiful. So we have the High Priestess coming forth. She reminds us that we are agents of our own change, that when we are able to see it, believe it, and sometimes even speak it into existence, things can happen more quickly. I had a really great conversation with a friend this week, and we were both tired of something, a block that we were feeling in our lives that was different, but I had kind of shared with her an insight, and we both said something, and it shifted within the same week. But I had a great teacher once who kind of saw a pattern that I was repeating in my life, and she said, stop it. Like, first of all, just stop what you're doing, be present here. And she said, I'd like you to make a commitment to me as your teacher, yourself, and your connection to whatever the divine is, and just say you're done with it. And she had me say it 2 or 3 or 4 times. She's like, I don't hear enough, and you're pull it from the belly. Like, say it like you mean it. Almost, and I finally was like, okay, I'm done with it. She said, good. Now stick with that energy and really feel like you've made a commitment to end this cycle and begin something new. It was High Priestess energy. You have to really feel it on a gut level. It has to come from, we focus so much on this, but you need the first 3 chakras to be planted. Root yourself in the purpose with the first chakra. Put your creative energy behind it. I'm going to make this happen. And feel the power in the belly. That's what my teacher was trying to get me to do, was the belly. She knew that I could get the other 2. And once I did that, the change happened, and it has stuck, which is amazing. And that was like, I don't know, 20 years ago or something. So you can make a significant change, but you can make the change. And you have to believe in the change. And the reason the High Priestess is a little bit more powerful than the Magician is she knows, she believes, and she chooses. The Magician is kind of testing things out, playing around, beginning things. She's tactical. She is, look at that, like the sort of like gaze. She's like, let's do this. So come on, folks, let's do this. Make a commitment to yourself. You can say it in front of me, but it's you and higher self that really matters. I'm just here as an observer saying, very good. So there you go. This is a great day for creative ventures. This is a great day for spiritual development, introspection, insight, etc. And the daily that I had pulled was the 3 of Swords. So you could be going to the core of something and asking yourself, why don't I like this? Why don't I want this? And what do I want instead? I mentioned with 3 of Swords that it's contextual. It gives you context on like when there's actually good times, and it also helps you see what you no longer need or want. So the next step, the continuation of that, is what am I going to do about it? And she doesn't have a doubt that it's going to come through. She's one of the most powerful High Priestesses that I've seen in a while. I went for an older deck. I've had to go through and edit some of them with stickies. I'm like, oh, let's use the Celtic one. So anyway, I like her power. All right, let's move on to Monday. King of Wands. This is also a beautiful illustration. What's kind of interesting and what's striking me about the energy of this is we talked about the root chakra, and literally what you see on this one is all of the roots. And we also see like a seasonal change or shift here. It's losing the leaves. So there may be, what is the best word, like a trade-off that has to happen on Monday where you let go of something, but you've put in enough energy and work that something better is about to come through. But there could be a little bit of a period of like a plateau, or you're not going to see progress for a little bit. And when we look at a seasonal card, it can be like 3 months of adjustment and then everything feels like it's perfect. So we never panic in spring, summer, winter, fall, because you know that there's a lack of permanence. It's a quarterly sort of energy. So we're almost at the end of July, but so August, September, October, like around October to mid-October, you might be starting to see the fruits of your labor. King of Wands, of course, if we take it on a more practical note as we look at Monday, you might be setting into motion something that could take 3 months. But the other thing is it's a stand-up and leading sort of card. Definitely leadership, definitely boss energy. He's also really tapping into everything. So we've talked about the importance of tree meditation before. So this is kind of like what I envision when I lean against a tree and tune in. You have the ability with each and every leaf and each and every branch to like reach the highest peak and see something from a bird's eye perspective. You have the ability to feel strong so you can weather any storm. And then you can plant your energy deep within the earth and start to feel this sense of connection and purpose and resilience. It's a very strong metaphor. So 2 powerful cards in rapid succession. So she's coming through and saying, I'm going to do this. And he's bringing it into action. And it is a card of action. So this is vision and this is action. And you don't need to tell anyone about it yet. It can be action in your own life, showing up, embodiment, because the King of Wands is more demonstrative than communicative. He does communicate non-verbally. He can show too. And yes, he can speak, but it is more in the showing up and it's more in the embodiment. So Monday is a day to show up, embody, and you can even use that brief visualization, and maybe we'll continue that in, remind me when we get into the meditation, say, Nicholas, do the tree meditation, and we'll look at that again, okay? But you have the potential to do whatever you need. You may also need to stand your ground, which may mean waiting for someone or saying, let's talk when you're ready. Really deciding, I've got this, okay? Let's move on to Tuesday. Tuesday's a little trickier. So we have the moon card. The moon card is reversed. This is overcoming a fear. But in order to do that, you may have to explore a couple of options. So one of the key things in the moon card is always a path. And we see that this path was obscured. And what a synchronicity. Look at the 2 different land masses that are obscuring things a bit. So I mentioned I saw 2 different sort of things that you'd have to deal with, gatekeepers. And there might be a couple of checks. And they were different. The first one was, am I saving? Am I spending correctly? The other one is, I can't throw money at a situation and fix it. And so one or both of these may be coming through. They're in the same category of resources, but they're looking at it from different angles. Look around. There may be a Goldilocks option, something that's a third that isn't even in here. The moon can also come through when reversed when you are shown something that you don't want to see. I talked a little bit about that in the 3 of Swords today too. But someone may show up in a way that it's disappointing, or it's just we could put it in a different light. It's informative. It's like, oh, okay, you actually have something to lose, something to gain. So I'm going to shine my light on everything and take that with a grain of salt. Because that's kind of what I'm getting here, is someone isn't fully disclosing their attachment. As I look at the moon, the actual moon here, this person's very attached to it. So emotionally, someone is making a decision, but they're not like practically looking at all of the other pieces, and you will want to use your own third eye, your own common sense to make sure that that it kind of like, that you're not missing something here, okay? All right, let's look at the middle of the week. More opportunity for clarity. So as we go to Wednesday, we have the 7 of Cups. The 7 of Cups is reversed. What's interesting here is it does feel like someone might be holding back. When I think of a dragon in mythology or also in like fantasy, typically they hoard all of the gold, which is what you see in this illustration, and they protect it. Someone's protecting an idea, or someone's protecting their own motives. And this can also be an inquisitive card. So I'll pull the traditional one while we're talking. The Seven of Cups can represent three things, and on Wednesday you can engage with any of these. One is brainstorming, or thinking of something new, exploring the options, like a menu. This person's looking at everything. The other one is confusion. So sometimes things are overwhelming. There's no clear vision, clear plan, and this person is like, huh? And that's the third thing, where they can actually get inquisitive, get decisive, limit some of the options. So one thing that you can do if things are a little bit confusing is just say, what do you mean? Simple. If there are too many options, you can throw out the ones that are like at the ends of the spectrum. Too expensive, too confusing, too ambiguous, and get to the center ones where it's like good, better, best. Usually there's one or two that you can just immediately discount. And then if you feel like someone might be hiding something, ask. Interestingly enough, they did pull from the traditional Rider-Waite because there is a little dragon here protecting something. So sometimes it can be a hidden motive. So get curious and ask yourself, and we talked about that from the day previous. There could be someone that's protecting or holding on to something. An example, if you're like, what would that be? If you're working at a job and someone has like job insecurity, they're worried like, if I share this with you, then, you know, that's my thing. So you would want to put them at ease. You'd want to make sure that that wouldn't impede on their territory, that it wouldn't, they need to feel like safe. So whatever's necessary for that. Someone else may be faking it and they might be confused, and you may actually unearth that too. A lot of interesting intricacies. I think before making a decision on Wednesday, it's important to get clarity and really look at it from all the different angles, okay? And don't let somebody scare you off a path. The dragon is more, I feel like it's creating more of this sort of puffing of the chest and everything, but there's insecurity beneath the surface, okay? All right, let's take a look at Thursday. On Thursday, we have Eight of Cups. Eight of Cups is in the reverse position. So this is the next step, both in what we were talking about, but also like how to kind of move forward. And I mean, of course, in the suit. So this is getting some distance from something. So if you're not sure, if you're not certain, sleep on it. Research other options. See if you feel the same way tomorrow, next week, etc. Here's the more traditional card. So we can see this person's left room to come back. It's not a hard no. It's like, I'll get back to you. Let me check in on that. Let me think about it. What I like about this whole approach is you have reclaimed the power. You can take it or leave it. This is really good if you need to negotiate. You have to be willing to leave it if you're going to do this. If you don't want to leave it, just buy yourself time. Say, I need to research it. I want to be completely committed. You still are telling this person, I'm not sold on it 100%. And then that gives you a little bit more bargaining power, especially if they want you to want it, okay? So give yourself a chance, like at the very least, do some research so you can walk away if you need to. Detachment gives you power and it gives you clarity. And so have you ever noticed that if you take a vacation away from something, you know what you miss and you know what you don't miss? And that is really, really powerful. It's like, I don't want to do that, but I really missed this. So distance gives you clarity. Get the distance that you need. This can also indicate a making or breaking of cycles. So if you don't like the way someone is treating, if you don't like a habit in your life, you can walk in a new direction and say enough. This is one of the quintessential cards of retrograde. Everything comes around again until you learn the lesson. And you can say, done with that. I mentioned a little bit about this, but I had to cut it. I'm like, this is too long. But basically releasing pain as a teacher. So you can say, I no longer need this. I think I did talk about it. I'd gone in more depth. I'm like, this is too long. So just deciding if you're really done with it, kind of like we were talking about with the High Priestess energy, you come forth and you say, enough universe. I don't want it. I don't need it. I'm ready for an upgrade to level up. That's what I didn't have a chance to talk about. So she comes through again, throwing punches, and she's saying, I don't need this. I don't want this. But what's missing from this high priestess is a little bit of gentleness and gratitude. So this is you getting resolute. I don't need it. But what you can then also follow up and say is, thank you. I appreciate the lesson, but it doesn't serve me. And I release it wholeheartedly so that I can experience something better. Because spirit doesn't need a threat. It just needs absolute clarity. Spirit works with gratitude. And so it's just getting to that point of like, I know what I want. That's what she's doing. I know what I want. She's not necessarily doing that. Okay. Let's look at, here's the thing. You may need to, you're probably not going to land on a decision on Thursday. Give yourself and other people space and time, because it will also be attractive for them. Just say, get back to me tomorrow. Do your research. Come back. I'll be here when you're ready. That's a very attractive energy because you're also not pushy. And someone will feel good about that. They'll be like, oh, good. Okay. You can give them a deadline. I'll need to know by the end of the day tomorrow, but take your time today. Do what you need to do. Okay. Do put a limit on it, though. Friday, we have Three of Wands energy. This is something coming to a wonderful conclusion. Things that are happening very quickly. Traditionally, we would see ships coming in. So you may need to travel to get something done. You may also realize that something can happen like immediately, where previously you thought, well, I don't know. This isn't a wishy-washy card, but it does require you to sort of like get up and say, all right, let's do this. Here's the traditional illustration. It's a little passive. And so I always wonder why this person doesn't get a little closer to the ships. You can meet someone or something halfway. We kind of see that here. He's saying hello to his like spirit totem there in the distance. So something's closer than you think. Don't be afraid to reach out and explore it. Traveling is a good thing to do on Friday. If you demonstrate something and say, well, look at this, people may say, all right, be prepared to engage faster than you think. It's a great day for business. It's a great day to just solve a problem, see a solution, see something opening up. Okay? Friday's great. Looking at next weekend, next Saturday, here's what's coming through. Four of Cups, but it's in reverse. So interestingly enough, this person has already kind of figured out what that fourth cup is. Usually it's a hidden blessing. So the universe is floating a cup, but they're not seeing it. So this time they've seen it, but it's like the acceptance isn't there. So on Saturday, I want you to sit with something and ask yourself, what's the hesitation? Because you've already reached out. You've grabbed that fourth cup, but there's something where it's like, I don't know. And that's okay to have that feeling of I don't know. What I would encourage is comparison won't help. If you compare yourself to someone else, their life is not analogous to yours. Here's your traditional one. What it results in is that person looking kind of grumpy. So live your life for you. Know that only you can make up the decision of what to do next. And it is saying go within, don't look around you. The grass isn't always greener somewhere else. And if you're holding on to something and thinking, I want it, then just go for it. So it's a call to action. But before you leap into it, just ask yourself, why am I hesitating? Why am I focusing on this? Why am I worrying about that? Why am I comparing myself? Blessing in disguise. So it could be a silver lining sort of day. You have one thing that falls away. Something new comes into your path and you're like, oh, that wasn't the timing, that wasn't the shape, that wasn't the form that I thought, but it could be good. So opening yourself up to a surprise and kind of like making the most of it. And I really love, very rarely, I do a lot of these weekly collectives. Usually the following Sunday, there's something, it's not always the best card, but this time it is. So we have the star coming through, and it's almost like wish fulfillment, which is usually Nine of Cups, but I like that she's kind of putting her magic out into the world. Star energy is all about authenticity and being yourself and knowing that there's something very solid, attractive, and and sustaining about that, because if you are your authentic self, you're not seeking fulfillment in all these other places. It is reversed, so don't mute your light. Don't second guess a blessing if it does come through, and never forget to keep on dreaming, keep wishing, keep believing. When we stop doing that, we start to close doors. So you can be 6 or 66 and still make these wonderful dreams and actions happen. It never stops our potential to, kind of like work our magic. We just get jaded as we get older. And this card comes through to say, find that inner childlike energy, make a wish, and explore things in your life that still make you feel wonderment. And it won't be the same thing that it was 5 years ago or 50 years ago or whatever. And that's okay. We continue to change. But maybe for some of you, it's even returning to something that you never thought you could do. And I think we talked about this. If it wasn't in one of the dailies, it was maybe last weekend. But why not? I think it was a daily. But why not try it? Why not explore it? Okay? Let's quickly look at highlights and challenges, and then we'll move into the elements. So clearly today is a highlight. So today, Sunday, things are looking really good. The encouragement is to embrace and move forward. I think that Monday and Sunday are also really great highlights if you're willing and ready to go in those directions. The challenges this week, I would say Tuesday and potentially Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday, because emotions and questions are kind of floating around. And it's important in these moments for you to get past either the fog in the mind or some of the emotional attachments that you might be clinging on to. But yeah, these three are magical. So Sunday, Monday, Sunday, Monday, Sunday. So there you go. Those are the best days of the week for sure. All right, we're going to move on to the next portion, which is the elements. So this is something specific to the Sunday Collective. I'm going to keep these here just in case we need to look at them. And let's see what Spirit wants to show us. All right. Let me see which deck of cards I'd like to use for this. I think I'm going to use that for the... All right, so we're going to take a look at fire, earth, air, and water. Fire, earth, air, water. All right, I have to tell you, retrograde, the beginning of it, I don't want to jinx it, but it's looking okay this time around. And I got that vibe when I did my sort of special on that. So check it out if you haven't already. There's a retrograde one-off video. Okay. Let's look at fire signs first. Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. You're perfectly aligned with what I connected with today. We have the High Priestess coming again through, and I love that she's a genie. So this is a reminder that wishes and dreams do come true. You oftentimes have to believe it here to see it in the physical. Believing leads to seeing. And if you don't believe it, how am I supposed to? So I really want you to focus today on believing and dreaming and brainstorming and connecting to source. And if you're like, I don't know what I want, just meditate. Meditate and feel it out. And you don't always have to see or hear. You can just feel it and think to yourself, I don't want to do that, but I definitely want to do that. Just get into the core gut emotions. And that too is High Priestess. She's going beneath the surface and she's like, what do you really see or feel? And trust in that. This is a very good week overall for Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius to speak into existence something. I want this. I need this. I want to stop this. Whatever it is that you speak, kind of like I was talking about, you can really start to bring it in. And we have the two different forms of the High Priestess. So we have the one where she's saying, really standing up for the dream, and another one where she's kind of tuning in. There are so many different faces to the High Priestess, whichever face, whichever form, whichever aspect you want. She's also a boss. That's why we saw that one where she's kind of standing up. But visionary. That's the takeaway with High Priestess. I see it, I feel it, I'll do it. She's embodying that, okay? It's a great week. If I had to pick, because we're in retrograde, like a shadow side, which I might do a little bit as we keep going through retrograde, here's your shadow side for this. Fears can manifest too. So if you focus on the negative, you sometimes attract it. If you focus on a fear, you give it more energy or weight. You want to acknowledge, yeah, I'm nervous about this, so I'm going to do this. I'm nervous about this, but I realize that it may just be unfounded. So you're not going to give too much energy to attracting the fear. You're just going to let it pop in. You'll do the research. You'll let it go. Okay. Let's move on from the fire signs to the earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. So we have a nice earth energy coming through for you in the Nine of Pentacles. Take your time. This is a card that is benefited by a slow, measured, and clear approach. You may find that you independently work quite well this week. This card, if I had to highlight a potential challenge, it is that it sometimes works in a silo or very much on its own. So make sure that you're taking time to come up for air. We do have like a form of communication that is always in all of the Nine of Pentacles, which is a bird. So pick up the phone, talk to someone. It may be a briefer sort of exchange like that, but tap into what's going on around you. It'll be good. You can't throw money at a problem or situation. We talked about that from the channeled message. This one, it represents abundance. So on the plus side, it looks like there might be something coming through that more than meets your expectations. But money in and of itself isn't always enough. Money can't fix everything. It can help a lot of things, but it's not the end-all be-all. And this card is reminding you to look beyond that. But ultimately, it's very hard to not love the Nine of Pentacles. The snail representing slow and steady growth, the fruit on the card representing, the hard work paying off, and whether you're actually in a moment with the Nine of Pentacles or you're manifesting a moment with the Nine of Pentacles, because we all got the High Priestess in the 7-day, I want you to kind of like close your eyes and say, I can do this. I feel it. I'm ready for it. One thing that this represents is a little bit of decadence, a little bit of opulence, but she very much is comfortable with that. She's like, bring it on. I deserve all of this and then some. And then my favorite little snail in the corner. It's all about taking your time. I always love the little bonuses that show up in even the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith card, and I pay attention to them. So there's no shortcuts. That's also what the snail represents. Don't take an unnecessary shortcut. But ultimately, you're in your sweet spot this week, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. It feels like you're very close to completion. We have a 9, which represents that you're almost there. And I also like that he's sharing. This is something unique to this. So he's got the watermelon. Again, he harvested something, and he's sharing the seeds with the bird. He'll eat the fruit, and then the bird is eating the seeds. So if you have more than enough, share. If you need a little help, ask. Okay? Let's move on from, let's see, we're looking at Earth. Let's go to air signs. Good week for you. So we have the Wheel of Fortune. Definitely, I encourage you to look at money, budget, timelines. I feel like you can get a firmer handle on it. I often think of the Wheel of Fortune as, taking the helm of a ship, and you can turn it. You can actually change your course this week is kind of what I'm getting. And then, of course, we have a spider deity in this particular illustration. So you reap what you sow. And whatever you set into motion this week, it's quite beneficial in the long run. What you want to avoid with this particular card, because we're looking at positive and negative with retrograde, is getting caught up in someone else's web. You want to be the spider. You don't want to be caught in the spider web. So if there's someone and you just know they're trying to pull you in or wrap you up in their drama, take a step back. Also, make sure you clean up your messes is what I'm getting with this too, because every day the spider has to reset and clean up its web. So make sure, and also if there's any like mental cobwebs, do the meditation, do the cleaning and clearing, and don't get pulled into other people's stuff, because you have a lot to focus on and you can get a lot done. And you can turn the financial tide and the productive tide this week if you do those things, okay? Great opportunity to get a better handle on your money, to feel a sense of success or fulfillment. And yeah, the Wheel of Fortune is one of the best cards. So embrace opportunities this week. Wrapping up here with water. It's the only reversal. And we have Knight of Pentacles in reverse. So Knights are typically fast. Things move fast. So when a Knight is reversed, the reason I read reversals is it's saying not so fast. And what it's trying to encourage you to do is to tune in and ask yourself, is this fulfilling? Is it worth my time and energy? Is it even aligned with what I want to do? How do I feel about this? You're checking in on the investment and you're looking at the return. There's also a stubborn energy. I love that we have like an ox or a bull here. So there's a stubborn energy. It could be with you or someone else, and you're tuning into it and you're trying to figure out, like, is this, if it's your own stubbornness, am I missing something? If it's someone else, how can I transmute that? How can I get them to see the bigger path? It feels like if it's someone else, it's very much about money, like what's in it for me. So if you have any important conversations around a sort of like compromise, you really want to lead with mutual benefits and even sometimes the other person first. Say, I've listened to you on this, this, and this. I know this is important to you. So therefore, I want to start off with why I think this is going to be great for you. Make it about them. You can eventually get into the mutual and shared stuff, but I actually think you might want to even start with them because there could be someone saying, what about me? This can also represent a chance for you to take better care of yourself, slowing down simply so that you can breathe, so that you can recalibrate, so that you can be your healthiest and best version of yourself. Okay? It's a good week. All right, we're now into special topic territory. So again, today's special topic is, are you on the right path? Let's take a look. While I'm getting everything set up, I hope you enjoy what you've seen so far. I do this every single Sunday, pretty much rain or shine, and even when I'm traveling. So like, subscribe so you never miss out on one of these videos. And also you can give me a follow on social, but wait until after this video to do that. I already saw that we have some gifting of memberships. Thank you in advance, and some people that have given with super stickers. I'll give you a shout out at the end of this video, so thank you in advance. But for now, we've got some work to do. Wasn't that like Scooby-Doo? We've got some work to do now. All right. That was one of my favorites as a kid. Also because they solved mysteries and there was supernatural. I watched the original version of it back in the day. All right, we've got work to do. Close your eyes, take a deep breath. All right, let's see what is coming forth. Very interesting, another Seven of Cups. I'm going to put those upright. They flew out of the deck. Hold on, I got to edit that one. Okay, 1 second. Let me put a quick sticky on this. Now, let's begin. All right, so we're going to start off with Catalyst Energy. This is crazy. Crazy synchronistic. Good crazy. So, we'll talk about this. This is in your crowning position. This is Judgment. But we got the Great Bear coming through here, or the Bear rather, and it says protection, courage, rest. I often ascribe this to the Mama and Papa Bear energy of like Queen of Pentacles and King of Pentacles. And so for some of you, you're protecting something that really, really matters to you. It could be your home. It could be your job. There's an attachment. And I even saw that in one of the lunar cards, like the moon card. So that's fine. Protect what matters most to you. Also, though, like you don't want to get to the point where you're like a grumpy bear or an angry bear. So once you've done the work, trust that it's protected. Because what I talked about with High Priestess energy, it's kind of like the OCD thing of having to keep checking to see, did I turn off the stove? Is the home, did I lock my front door? Did I leave the lights on? Like, you check it once, take a picture if you need to, and then move on, because it feels like there's something about that is a little obsessive, like OCD came through. And I know that's not always something you can control, but I get that it's obsessively focused. So however you can let go of that or have someone reassure you that it's okay, maybe working with an advisor or a friend, that'd be helpful. Courage. You've got this. I mean, the bear came through twice. I keep getting 2s this week. So a couple of checkpoints, and then it feels like you're flying. That's what I saw in my my dreams and my meditation. Take care of yourself, rest. So I require a certain amount of sleep in order to do what I'm doing today. So later today, I'm going to do the Aquarius. I'm going backwards, and I'll post that either today or tomorrow. But I'll have to take a nap. I'll have to take an hour nap after this because it takes a lot of energy. People don't realize, they think you do, and I'll have to probably take another nap after that to do the daily, because I get tapped out. Even when I'm just channeling, it costs energy. And so I'm done for a couple hours. I can't talk. I just need to rest. Make sure you're resting. That's why I can't churn them out. I know some people can. I can't, because it takes focus, and I put a lot into it. And I also use like dreams to help. So I can usually just do one. So I'm going to try to get all the next. We're ahead now, but I'm going to try to get them all done by the end of this month, because there's 12 days, and that's enough for each of the signs. So pace yourself. I figured out finally something that works. It's 2 months at a time. Then I can do it in my own time and schedule. Find your pace. Your pace is not going to be everyone else's pace, okay? And take that first step. Have the courage to do what you need to do, all right? Don't worry, we'll get to it. It's in the crowning position here. That's the judgment one, okay? We'll work our way through it. So let's talk about it. I like overall what's coming through. I don't think we have a 9 of Swords, which is stress, but everything else in this deck is pretty good. So, or in this spread rather. So it feels like this is a manageable week. Let's just do one card at a time, not get too far ahead of ourselves. We'll start off with the center card. Once more, we have a 7 of Cups. This time, it's putting something to rest. And literally on this card, we have the word mourning. And so it's saying, this is tough, but I need to close a chapter on that, and I'm going to give myself an opportunity to get through it. Also, if we take the you out of it, the next day could be very different. It's like mourning and mourning. So you may mourn the loss of something, and by the following morning, you'll have this sense of clarity. Sleep on it for sure, because we also had 8 of Cups coming through right in rapid succession after the 7. As I said before, I think it's really important to explore the options and take out the sort of like ridiculous options in front of you too. One is either too expensive, one is too far, one is too confusing. Like, take those 3 out of the equation, 7, 6, 5, 4. Then you have like 3 or 4 in front of you. Like, just get the ridiculous ones off the table, and then that's going to help you use your time a little bit better, okay? Crossing this, we have that. This is uncanny. So I don't know why I'm surprised. Like, I do I do this every day, but I love it when there's a synchronicity. So we had the 7, then we had the 8. What did we have in the weekly? A 7 and then an 8. So once again, get some distance. This one is a little harder to kind of see it all, but it'll all start to flow. I'm going to pull the 2 traditional ones one more time here. But well, at least this one. This one is what's necessary. So you might need to step back and say, how do I feel about this? Why am I doing this? What's going on? And by sleeping on it, that's going to help you through some of the confusion that is part of the traditional 7 of Cups. So I don't know why it's hard to find that one. We don't need to worry about it. But remember, that person was reaching up to the sky, looking at everything and saying, I don't know. So it's okay not to know. When you get distance, you're usually going to achieve a certain amount of clarity. And then with that newfound clarity, you can walk with a sense of confidence. Because I don't want you to enter into something like wishy-washy, wondering like, should I have, I wish I'd given myself more time. So we have these two cards. I think it's important to look at the traditional ones. I don't know, but I will know once I give myself time to look. Okay? So again, we have these two coming forth. If you're not there today, you'll probably be there tomorrow. If you need to make or break something, cyclically speaking, you can do it. Now, are you on the right path? Literally, this is exploring a new path. This is the question of, is there more? And this is what you do if you're wondering. The question tells you that there probably is. Because if you were completely satisfied with the present thing, person, place, or thing in front of you, you probably wouldn't be asking. You'd be thinking, thank God, this is great. I don't want to lose it. So if you're asking the question, you've answered the question. The next step is to explore. I can give you that much. You'll have to do the exploration. Okay, so these two came out, and they just flew out of the deck, and I'm like, let's just put them in the upright position. 10 of Pentacles. So this is a path. We don't know which direction this is in because it just flew out of the deck. So there could be an opening or like a window or a door that can lead. So this is not a guarantee. This 10 of Pentacles hasn't been thrown in your lap. It's one that requires an opening. And this is in the past. So a door that was once closed is now open, but you must walk through it. Because we don't see the door on it, but you still have to go through it. I'm wondering what it is that could be holding you back from it. It could be a lack of confidence, thinking to yourself, am I enough? Am I worthy? There may be something also where, interestingly enough, because I'm going back to my dream that I had earlier, and it's like, someone can't just throw money at it now. You're like, why do you see the value now, but you didn't see it then? So I get that. I will say this, though. It looks like it's a good opportunity. If it feels right for you, go for it. I've looked at this a lot. I've never noticed that we have like two people in stone on either side of this. So no one's going to force you through this door. You alone have to decide to go through it. And what worked for others may not work for you. So I think it's important for you. You also maybe don't want there could be something around a contract too. You're like, I don't know if I want that carved into stone like we see here. Okay? I understand. I get it. Okay, let's take a look at what's going on here in recent past. So we have the Ace of Cups. This was a bonus card that flew out. And this is what I was talking about with the feeling of flight. It should feel easy. It should feel comfortable. It should feel exciting. And the heart will help lead you to or from something. It's the compass that you really want to be paying attention to. And nobody else gets to make that decision except for you in this period of time. So I'm just encouraging you to lean into that and to trust it. I'm going to edit this one card too. If you wonder why I have to do this sometimes, it's just because YouTube's algorithm, or not algorithm, but they look at little things and they freak out. So I have to put little stickies on cards, even though it's not a big deal. It's not for me. It's not for you. It's just because. There could be, this can be good news, an offer on a table. This could be someone who's interested in you. You could also have a light bulb that is kind of, going off and you're thinking, oh, I want to do that. So I'd encourage you in this moment to listen to that and follow your heart. Okay? Now for the magic. So in the very crowning position here, we have the bear coming through. So all of the things that we talked about earlier, let's review. Courage, protection, and rest are all coming forth. This is a gatekeeper in this card. So the great bear is basically the judgment card. And in this moment in time, you're being asked, are you sure? Are you ready? Is this what you want? There could someone simply be, like in your life, that could be asking you that. A parent, a boss, someone that wants you to sign on the dotted line. Before you do it, they're saying, are you sure? You should be certain before you go through that. And that may just be because this is a doorway. That might be what is holding you back. If you're uncertain, if you're unsure, to quote a line from the original trilogy of Star Wars, like search your feelings and really see how do you feel on a heart and soul level. Does it align? Traditional sort of like messaging and symbology in the Judgment card. This is a moment to be bold, to reinvent, and to think beyond what has been done before. It is the Flight card, so I'll find it. In the traditional illustration, there are souls rising up from the dead. So what that means is if you close a chapter, if you walk away from something, if you decide, I'm done, but it opens up this fantastic new path for you, it's going to be pretty good. I do want you to look at a couple of things. I want you to look at your time, your budget, and your emotional investment in it. But once you've sorted those and you've made sure that they align, then there's liberation. So in this deck, they actually put the angelic wings on all the people, and it's a card of flight. So things are going to take flight. But you have to move beyond what was. It's not rinsing and repeating. And this comes through for people in business often because there's pressure to do the same. If you're a writer, they want the second book to look the same. If you're a musician, it's like, just put that, reheat your nachos, put lightning in the bottle again. And it's like, no, I'm going to do it a little bit different. If I am kind of referencing myself, I'm going to do something a little bit more spice or something this time. So that's the key thing here. Finally, Judgment in reverse is disbelief or lack of acceptance. Believing is seeing. You have to believe in yourself or I won't believe in you. Sometimes we've made the decision, but we haven't accepted. The path is ready for you when you're ready. That bear is just there to protect you from entering before that happens. The bear looks scary, but it's really this. It's protecting you. Don't be afraid to step through. We have a couple of archer symbols. This one I had to cover up a bit, but this is an archer. And then we have an archer here, literally, that I think is the chariot reimagined. But before moving, it's your GPS. So we have 5 of Wands. Here's an interesting thing with this 5 of Wands. Somebody's ego could be getting in the way of you being able to move forward. Typically, 5 of Wands can be conflict. Not the kind that is overwhelming, but just it's difficult. I'm sure we've all had people cross our paths where it's like, why does everything have to be so difficult? Even just making a decision. Either they're indecisive or there's redoubling of efforts or lack of good communication. In a place of employment, the 5 of Wands can be something like just a lack of leadership where everybody is trying to get attention, trying to speak up. And so it's really important. That's why we have an archer on this card, kind of carved into the ground. And so somehow we've lost track of the goal, the common interest, the path. So the next step is 6 of Wands. You can either step into a leadership moment right now, or you can lead or leave, because that person's on a horse. So it's entrepreneurial, it's directional, it's leadership energy, and it gets you out of this. Also in this card, where are the people? There's like nobody doing the work. So I really do feel like there's either inequity in the division of labor responsibilities, etc. There's no leadership, or there's no passion. Something's lacking, and that helps you, and that's in the near future. So if you, as the week progresses, as the month progresses, if you're just feeling any one of those things, like this isn't it, it's disorganized, right? That's what causes the conflict. So know what you can fix, know what you can't fix, and then move on if you need to. How are you showing up? A little stressed. It's okay. It's okay to be stressed. I have like a really good friend from college that was making a decision, and I took a late call last night. I was like, okay. For my very close friends and family, sometimes I'll pull a couple cards. This came up for them too, and I was like, you know what? It's never as challenging as it seems, and in this one, it isn't. And so what she's actually doing is gathering up all of the spent arrows And I've always wondered, like in Hunger Games, Katniss, how do you always have extra arrows to shoot? You've got to go out there and collect them at some point, right? So that's what happens. This is the cleanup and mop up work that's happening. There could also just be this concern of, do I have enough? Will there be enough? You only need one. You only need one shot to make it work. Make this one count. It doesn't matter how many spent arrows or misses that you've had. This time, aim it and make it work. So you only need one arrow to hit the target. I don't care how many times you've tried and haven't. You have at least one more shot. Make this one count. That's really what I get with this. You might be beating yourself up on past mistakes. We all go through certain things. This time at bat, this time that you do it, that's what counts. Now, I am going to go to the traditional card just to give you a couple of insights here. I think it's really important today and this week to focus on the quality and the quantity of your sleep. If you're taking stress to bed at night, it's time to change up the habits. Talk to someone, exercise, do something different before going to sleep so that this isn't what you're carrying forth, right? Stress management in life is important. It's never worth this. There have been 2 instances where I've gotten to the point where I wanted to cry actually maybe 3. But each time that happened, I either left or made a change happen. So one time was when I was an intern and I was traveling overseas. I was in London and I was very poorly treated. And it happens a lot with interns. So I just went to the place that I was doing the internship with, and I said, I don't think this is going to work. I've come all the way across the world, but I'm not being treated well. And the school that I was working with and the person, they're like, no, you're not going anywhere. We're going to make this work. We're so sorry that you went through this. We're having you report to someone else, and the other person's going to apologize. And it was a little awkward, but what I learned from that is finish what you started. It ended well. It was uncomfortable the last couple of months of that, but then I was like, okay, don't run away from a situation is what I learned there. But I went to someone yelled at me in front of everyone. You're an intern, you're supposed to work. I went into the bathroom and I cried. And then that night I was like, I can't do this. But I came back and a change happened, and that person didn't end up staying there in the long run. But it was good that I spoke up because nobody should treat you that way, especially when you're like 20 something and you're brand new and you're there to learn. So speak up if you need to. Then a couple of other times it was just stress at work, someone that wasn't a good boss or an environment that was toxic. And when I got into that moment of, I think I'm going to cry, whether or not I got to the tears, I was like, I need to leave now. There was a difference and I need to find a better path. And I did. Sometimes you can't change. Like the difference when you're an intern, usually there's a lot of advocates. Sometimes you're in a toxic situation where you don't have the support. It doesn't always work. So in that situation, I found a plan B. I got a safety net, and then I left. And it felt good, and it felt empowering. So if you're in something toxic, don't just jump. Find that security first. That's something I learned as an adult. You have to have your plan B or C ready, and then pull the trigger and go. It's not worth the stress. That's the takeaway that I'm getting here. You can manage this. You'll be all right. But it should never get to the point that you feel that. If it's a relationship, a job, or some sort of situation, when tears come through, it's done. But how you resolve it, that's what's important. The third time that it happened, I left and they wanted me to stay and to come back. So actually almost every time, I was able to leave in a way where they were like, are you sure? Don't go. So you can manage an exit well if you need to. That was always my goal. The middle one, it couldn't work. But the first and the last, I managed it well. So do your best to not burn bridges would be the other message here, because you never know when you're going to run into that person again. And you always want to think I did my best. Okay? All right, what's going on in the environment? A lot. Okay, so we have decisions. To me, 2 of Pentacles is more decisions. This is more envisioning, I should say. But But it could be deciding that I want this and seeing where I'm at and how it's going to happen. You've decided this is it. And the Two of Wands helps you find the path to it. He's at the center of the two fiery wands and he's saying, we're doing this. So I do like that. It is decisive, it is clear, it is passionate. Have you given yourself time to meditate, to tune in, and to look around? If you constantly go from one thing to another without that meditation, without that presence of mind and being, you don't really know what else is out there. So slow down and look around, okay? So I said it only takes one arrow to make this work. This shot is the one that matters the most. Really tune in, really focus. For my Sagittarians out there, this is especially for you. But this is time to take aim and to say, I want this. And you're going to kind of like move forward. I think this is like the Chariot. But it's important to decide what you want. And the GPS is everything. And that's what these two cards together are: decisive energy and follow through. Okay? It's in the environment. Someone else may also be looking for you. So this is kind of cool. If you're having a difficult time making something work, you could hire an advocate, if you're trying to look for a property, a realtor. If you're trying to find a job, this could be like an agency or something like that. Anything that you're looking for, there might be someone to direct you. This could also be like a tutor, a counselor, someone that has some experience and that can give you the direction that you need and you deserve. What's going on in hopes, fears, and opportunities? It's kind of uncanny how we're getting a lot of the same cards. This is very different. So here's our Nine of Pentacles. We have a snake and an Ouroboros on it. And this one is steeped in tradition. It's very grounded. And it feels like you may want to go counter to this. It's like, that's too traditional. That's too stuck. I don't feel like I can breathe. I don't feel like I can move forward. And I can't see the forest for the trees. And even if we look at the traditional card, there's a little bit of that there. It's a really dense and thick energy that I don't always see in the traditional one. And so for this, you need to get above the money, all of the sort of like traditions and all the stuff that you've built. Sometimes you have to walk away from something you've built and say, do I still want it? And I get a little bit of that here as well. I like that twice we've gotten a very high card with respect to what's available. But in the meditation and dreams, what I was shown is money isn't everything. And sometimes when you try to put it into something that's already broken, it still won't work. So we just want to make sure that there's more than, you're looking at more than the money. Whether there's not enough or there's too much, it almost doesn't matter. It's not going to be the end all be all. That won't keep you there in the long run, okay? For those of you staying in a relationship for the money, it's also kind of like acknowledging that. It's the stability, but it's not feeding you on all levels. Okay. So in the outcome, we have the Page of Swords in reverse. Was it last week that we were rewriting things and looking at a different path, flipping the script? Yeah. So this is a continuation, a little tiny asterisk from last week, where if you don't like what's in front of you, rewrite it or reimagine it. And I mentioned before that you can. So if we think of like in TV series, you can change someone else's arc, you can change your own. So the villain has a redemption arc, and it's like, I don't want that person to be the bane of my existence anymore. There can also be something where you're like, I'm just not getting enough, so I'm going to edit this. I'm going to edit it and look at something else. It's a different approach. I very much connect with that and approve that if that's what you want to do. Is your voice being heard? Now moving to a traditional sort of like interpretation. Pages communicate, but they also listen. In this case, are you being listened to? Is your voice being appreciated? If not, then this is one of the sort of like wake-up calls, then it might be time to move in a new direction. All right, I need to get a tissue. We're going to pull Apollo up for a second, and then we'll expand the forecast. So a little bit of puppy time. Hey, buddy. It's a good boy. you are. We'll pull him up afterwards. He just got groomed. All right, so thank you for your patience. We're going to expand the forecast now and take a look at health, wealth, love, and destiny very quickly and see what's coming through. All right. Let's shuffle the cards. Okay, let's take a look at all of these. We're going to start off with health, which is mind, body, and spirit. Take a look at the team around you. This could be all the different people that you lean on: doctors, therapists, dentists, advisors. Is it your team? Is it the team you still feel connected to? If they're too rigid, if they're not listening to you, because we just talked about that, that is super important. If they're talking at, not to, and if they're not computing, it's not your team. So this is about finding the dream team, and it's a chance for you to kind of recalibrate all of that. This is also the support team in your life, your friends, the family members that you really want to connect with, all of those people on a core level that feel like that's my tribe, right? That's what I really want you to focus on. Don't sort of like succumb to or feel too much pushed by expectations or projections from others. Sometimes it can come from family or from a friend circle or coworkers. So it can cut both ways, where it's almost too much love or too much concern. So boundaries are going to be really important in the week ahead. It's not always when you think or who you think you need to have the boundaries with, but you know what I'm talking about on that. All right, quickly, sort of illuminating things to focus on. As I said, one of the challenges right now could be in just, let's see if I still have it here, but the traditional Nine of Swords. So we're only going to look at it kind of on a surface level here. It could be that you're getting to sleep too late. You're sleeping too much, too little, or there could be something else going on affecting your sleep: caffeine, sleep apnea. There could be any number of things. Talk to a doctor if it's something that's chronic or persistent. It could just be stress management, and if that's the case, meditation, exercise, and talking to someone can be very helpful. Tons and tons of water here, which is interesting. So it's either too much or too little. I want you to pay attention to hydration, but also like, what are you drinking? What's the balance of like sugar or carbonated or alcoholic beverages to just regular water? We want to make sure that there's water, real water. And also like, is it clean? I'm looking at a lot of springs. Like, see if you can't, if you're in a place where like municipal water is poor, then get spring water, and that could help you, or get alkaline water, something like that, to help flush and clear the system. Wake up call. There could be something that happens this week where it's like, okay, it can be a near miss too, like you almost, twist your ankle or almost get into a car accident or something, and it doesn't happen, but it's like, why wasn't I present in that moment? It feels like a near miss and a blessing at that, but it's a wake up call. There could also just be something where you go to the doctor and they say, you need to change these numbers in your cholesterol or else. Listen to the doctor, okay? It doesn't have to happen. It's just a little flashing yellow light. Again, there's something around, this is an energy tap. Whatever is causing some conflict or just where you're spinning your wheels, that is causing some of the stress. That's feeding into this. I like everything else, especially in the environment and opportunity space. So if you put your mind to something and really sort of commit to it, it'll stick. and it'll be good. Slow and steady changes because, again, that Nine of Pentacles is not rushed at all. It has the little snail. She's taking her time. In order for everything here to be harvested, it has to grow. It has to get a lot of love and attention. So sit with it for a second. Overall, pretty good. With the Page of Swords in reverse, there could be a dry throat. There could be some sinus discharge, little bit of irritation in the throat chakra, but nothing to call home about. Speaking of that, I'm going to drink, but then we're going to take a look at wealth, which is resources, life, purpose, and career. I really want to look at this because of the message around the two different money things that came through in dreams. All right, I need another drink. As an empath, sometimes when I read stuff, it affects me. And I'm like, I may even need a little, I do have some cough drops. We'll see if I need that. Check into your throat this week. If there's anything scratchy, since I got that empathically and intuitively, make sure you're drinking enough water and definitely don't go. If you need to go to the doctor sooner than later, do that so that you don't get sick. Okay. Wealth. What did you get for wealth? Okay, so we have a very interesting card here, the Rooster. Now, interestingly enough, I love that the resurrection energy came through. That is absolutely connecting to judgment. So resurrection, optimism, and spotlight. I think this card was reversed. So there's a little bit of resistance to change, a wish or desire that things could be the way they used to be. So this sort of like lens of nostalgia. See it for what it is and don't let that block you from an opportunity that might be knocking. All right, let's drill into this. We're going to take a look at it in 5 different levels. If you are presently employed, here's what I see. I like the work that you've done here in the past. 10 of Pentacles, you are actually positioned to level up. And if you don't get that level up sooner than later, like we're at the halfway point over the halfway point, it feels like in the next half of the year, quarter to half, so 3 to 6 months, if you're not seeing what you need as far as career growth, there may be another door. We see a couple of doors. Like, look around. See what else is out there, just at the very least so that you know if this is for you. There could be a bad manager. Like, when I look at judgment in reverse, it can literally be like, what are you thinking? You could be looking at someone who doesn't understand. They don't have direction. And if you don't want to kind of like follow someone, like in the metaphor of a ship, you don't want to go down with the ship. So if somebody isn't steering it correctly, look around. There's only so much you can do if it's 1 or 2 levels up. So either you've made a decision to move on, or they aren't leading you correctly, or if you don't get the level up that you want, I'm getting this internal compass shift. So this is perfectly aligned to our to the special topic question. Are you on the right path? If and only if leadership improves, or if and only if you kind of get that level up. There's something intuitively where you know it's time to explore some other options. You may also just be deciding, I'm ready to think about the next chapter, whatever that might be. And it doesn't have to happen immediately, but you're setting course for something new, something different. You might be deciding to go to school and add on to your skills. You might be planning for retirement. You might be looking for another job. Could be looking at entrepreneurial stuff. Something better. I got the feeling of like flight, good stuff ahead, but there's something here where I feel like it's played its course for you, okay? If you want to stay where you're at, here's what I've got. Stress management is everything. Don't take on more than you need to. Again, there's something with leadership or management of a project that you're working on that is a little lackluster. You're either going to rise up and try to fix it, or just buy your time, wait until that closes and move on to the next thing. I could see you there for like 2. It could be a couple more months, couple more years, but there is a point where something has to shift. So for now, it's fine, but I'd really encourage you to look beyond this in the long term. I'll always be honest. There's something about it. I just like you to have like a back pocket option. Nothing immediately to worry about. Now, there may also have just been new management, some layoffs, something changed. It's already happened or it's happening, but that may also kind of affect the aftermath here too. There's some diminishing returns again on the money. Money doesn't go as far as it used to because depending on where you're living, there's just some weird stuff going on with different currencies, just the financial markets. I think we're going to see more fluctuation over the course of the next year. So what seems like enough now in 2 years' time may not be enough. So that's why you want to look at diversifying your options, having a back pocket option. You might even decide to do a small business on the side. Give yourself as many options as possible, okay? I would avoid an ultimatum. Try saying that 3 times fast. Because judgment in reverse, the other party isn't quite ready to listen and they may call your bluff. So wait a little bit on that until you have your plan B, like I said. Okay, if you're an entrepreneur, you're sitting on a decision and I feel like you're more ready than you might think for that. There's stress, but what you're doing right now, you've built up a good customer base. The 10 of Pentacles is good. You've got a lot of good ideas. I think in this moment in time, it's important to step back a little bit and decide which one is going to be your primary focus. I think that there could be, if you have a middle manager or if you have a team, there needs to be a better vision, better management there. So if you have someone managing your team, talk to them, look at how they're managing them. I bet you there's a little bit of there's something going on where it could be better. And if you're the one doing everything, you may need to step back and have someone else step in. If there's anyone on the team that isn't communicative, isn't a team player, that needs to be resolved. I like whatever the next quarter is kind of offering here. It feels like the next couple of months could be exciting. There's some good profits coming in. Overall, pretty good. But it feels like you're either too far in the weeds or there's someone managing that shouldn't be managing, and we need to focus on steering the vision a little bit. Job seekers. This is so important. Again, it's not about rinsing and repeating. And so I've talked about this before. Judgment gives you a chance to reimagine yourself so you don't have to keep doing the same things. I radically like to do that from time to time. I'm like, well, what if I tried this? It's not just like a format of a video, but like when I look at my own career, if I look at the points where I was like, I'm going to completely change this and see how that feels. It's invigorating. All the neurons light up. So in the next job shouldn't be a rinse and repeat of the past. When it comes to what the pay looks like, there could be a difference of about 10% of what you want. And I don't know if you can, in the week ahead, I'm only looking at 7 days, you may that's the compromise, and that could cause stress. If it's not enough, it's not enough, and you could look for another option, but you may be at the negotiation table and they're not going to budge that extra 10%. You get to decide if that's enough. I see a couple of opportunities on the horizon, but it also could take up to 2 weeks for things to happen. And this is the Nine of Pentacles is a slow-moving card. So it's going to go into the next week. You want everything done this week. It's probably going to be 9 to 14 days before everything has solidified. And a slight decrease. So see what the benefits are. See if there's other things that kind of compensate for that delta or difference. I want you to pay, or I encourage you to pay close attention to morale wherever it is that you might be applying for jobs. 5 of Wands shows a lack of morale or a lack of leadership. The company may have just merged. Make sure that you've also done your research on that. What changes or challenges have they had, and how are they rebounding and adjusting in different times? You have a network that might also have an in. The 10 of Pentacles can be a family member or a coworker, someone close, someone that knows you. There may be this feeling of not wanting to inconvenience them, but if they have a connection to a job, I would talk to them because they could get you straight through all of the sort of like digital application process that's so infuriating nowadays because of AI. Students, interesting energy here. Some of you have just graduated or are on the precipice of that. And there is directional questions like, what do I do next? You may be considering additional schooling. You may be considering even just a shift in what you've been studying. So sit with it for a second. The Eight of Cups is really important before you make any major decision. Overall, if you're a brand new student, I feel like it's been a stressful semester, but you're going to get through this. You will be able to manage this. If you can lighten up your activities or possibly even take a slight break, like we're in a summer semester. If you don't have to do as much in the summer, that might be good. Or maybe there's an opportunity for transfer credits. So you can, I don't think this is true everywhere, but like in the States, sometimes you can study at a community college for less, take some electives there and then transfer them back to your university. It's a way to save some money and get ahead. So maybe there's a chance to just do some work, be enrolled for the next semester, but not so much stress. So if there's something that you don't like, take it at a different place, or plan an internship or something where you're taking some time away from focusing so much on work. It feels like the next semester has to be a little bit lighter, okay? And you may be deciding to change it up a little bit. Judgment in reverse is saying, I don't want to take this, I want to do this. Maybe you're changing up the minor, maybe you're changing up the major. Retirees, this is the pivotal card for you. And did I just hear in the UK, do you guys call it pensioners? I was unaware that there's other words for people that are just not working anymore. I should probably look at different ways of titling this. But if you're not working, if you're a pensioner or retiree, here's what is coming forth. Life is finite. The Judgment card is a wake-up call, and it's saying, I want to make sure that I do everything on my bucket list while I'm still able to enjoy it, able to do it. So I'd like you to look at your bucket list and decide, what am I holding back on this and this for? At least a couple of things. Maybe it's travel, maybe it's personal development, or just experiences in life. Now is the time to embrace the bucket list a little bit more than you did before, okay? I actually feel pretty good about general finances this week. Anyway, we're looking at 7 days. You may need to tap into something a little bit, but it looks like it's going to be okay. All right, that's everything for that category. Let's move on to love and relationships. I did go a little quicker through this last week, so I'll make sure to give it the normal amount of focus this week. This is a fascinating card, anomaly. So there could be something that comes through that confounds, surprises, or confuses you. An anomaly is something that doesn't normally fit into the system. In the Matrix, it was the cat, the glitch, where it went past twice. And you have to tune in to pay attention to the anomaly. It doesn't fit, it's not normal, it's not the normal programming. It could be a one-off, but it could also be calling your attention to something. So don't make a mountain out of a molehill. If it's a one-time anomaly, so be it. Maybe someone does something out of character. If it is something that doesn't normally track, then check in. Are they healthy? Are they happy? Are they stressed? What's beneath the surface? This could just be helping you see what you need to see, okay? Okay. Now let's take a look at this on 3 different levels, beginning with those that are in a partnership. What I love most, there's a lot to love about this actually. The card that's in the sort of the root chakra, the foundation, it's very good. The 10 of Pentacles shows investment of time, of energy, of attention. You put a lot of love into building something together, okay? So that's good. I also love that we have the Ace of Cups here because that is showing love and commitment. There's a little bit of distraction or confusion going on. One or both of you may be distracted by work and life. Travel could also be playing a little bit of a role in miscommunication or this longing, the sense of missing one another. This is an interesting energy. So if you have been in a relationship for a while, but there's no ring, this is For all intents and purposes, you're married, but you're not married. Maybe there's something about that that's bothering you, and you're asking yourself, am I not enough? Why isn't this? So maybe now is a time to get more exclusive or more official when it comes to the relationship status or what you're calling the relationship. Judgment in reverse can also be this sort of like you're disagreeing on a core level with somebody. And I think it is important to take a step back in that as well. Now, this can also just be something pivotal, a loss of a loved one, not your loved one, but like maybe their parent or a sibling or something big in your life where it's like it can bring you closer if you're willing to kind of let them in. The reason I mention that is there's a couple of doors. One is guarded and the other one is vacant. And this other bear is kind of just waiting. So it feels like both of you are waiting. One of you is going to have to take the initiative and just walk through that and say, hey, let's talk about this. But not using those words because typically let's talk is never well received, but you know what I'm saying. All right, overall, if we take all of that out of the picture, I'm just picking up on stress and a lot going on. And so take your time. Listening is so important. If you've ever listened to a great interviewer, a lot of times they can just hold enormous oceans of space. Even in just like a good first date, what you can do is you can ask a question and then just really give them an extra 15 seconds to answer. Don't fill all of the dead space. You don't want awkward time between one another, but it doesn't all have to be filled in. So I feel like holding some space and just being together could be really, really advantageous. Overall, it's pretty good. But there is something that pops up that's a little bizarre. Go beneath the surface, listen, ask a question, maybe plan a trip, do something to change up the environment. I think all of that will help. If you're looking for love in this moment in time, karmic energy is coming through. The karma is a commitment, actually. Like it feels like it was very committed before. And there's something this time that's just saying don't rush into that again. Because it's really important to just make sure that you're both on the same level. It feels like you're kind of shortcutting into something that was there before. And if I'm looking at some of the stuff here, stress could be trying to push you into this. There may just be too much in your life and you're distracted. So I really want you to feel it, mind, body, and spirit, that this is the best connection. What kind of energy might be coming through? We actually see in the outcome an air sign. It's a page, so that's interesting. There could be a younger energy, a very talkative energy that comes through. That could be good. It could be comforting to be around someone that just is very outgoing. I should say very outgoing. The universe is almost asking you, what do you want? Because this is an indecisive card. We have an Ace of Cups. You're very able to manifest. And we had the High Priestess coming through today. It's just a matter of what do you want? Lots of archers. So I'm getting Sagittarian energy too. So there could be a Sagittarius coming through. There could be an air sign. But there's a little bit of indecisiveness. So really ask yourself, are you truly ready in this moment? And what do you want? I also would take the bears and say this is good. But to me, it very much is King and Queen of Pentacles. So yeah, we're not at a lack of, most of the signs are represented here. It's what you want. And if it's too wide of a net, you get too many options. So being more decisive is key. Single and happy. I think it's a prime time to be single and happy. Some of you may be deciding to move. Judgment could be selling a house, changing career, changing your city or your country. Big changes, big changes. By the way, that's true of everyone. And I'm going to do like reader's choice here in just a moment. We'll make sure that we're tapping into the special topic. But one of the things that I'm getting already is some of you are making a major shift in your life. And as you're doing this, you're thinking, do I want to take this job with me? How am I going to manage this friendship? Like big stuff, big stuff. But I saw liberation and I saw flying, as we see in this, like all the wings. This will be good, but you have to really be ready before spreading those wings. There are a couple of options, and that is the decision here. What's right for me? What's right for you may not be right for me. And you have to kind of like wrestle with that for a second. But I do see a decent amount of resources this week, and I do see an ability for something really cool to happen, okay? And it just may be an unusual path. You're like, I didn't see myself there, but maybe this is exactly what I need, okay? Let's take a look at your destiny card. Well, this is cool. This is basically a reimagined version of like the Lovers. And it's showing that it could be, there's something unusual about friendship, partnership, or connections coming through in this week that is still very well suited for you. What we think is best isn't always what the universe thinks is best, and you're being offered or handed like this upgrade. And it's not just love, although we see that here. But it could be a really unlikely partnership. It's reversed, so it's saying give it a chance. Sometimes when you meet someone and you think they're the bee's knees, they're not. And sometimes when there's a connection, but you're like, whatever, that's just, they can grow on you. So there's something where you have this unlikely connection and it may have more depth than you originally imagined, or someone could grow less beautiful as you get to know parts about them. So take your time. Okay, now I'd like to do a couple of things. So first, I want to do a reader's choice, and I just want to see it's really a reader's choice because I'm directing it. Are you on the right path? Like, let's just ask the question tactically, specifically. Cards are very good when you are clear. So let's say, are you on the right path? Okay. So we have Ace of Pentacles in reverse. What I get from this, because it's a specific question, this isn't the final question, so I'm looking at it more tactically. I feel like it's important, especially if you're going for a new job, and I get the word negotiating, it's like in friendship or relationship statuses, ask for what you want. Until you ask, you'll never know. And I feel like there's a karmic or habit-based pattern in the past where there was a reluctance, shyness, or inexperience when it came to asking. This time around, if you want to stay, if you want to make something happen, like ask. And then also invest. If you don't feel the investment, if there's something about it where you're like, I don't know, then you're not ready or it's not right. So tune in to the level of investment that you have. Ask for what it is that you want or need, and then follow through. Aces are like an acorn or a seed. You've got to plant them, water them, be patient, and then they grow. So it's the follow through. Spirit's getting very clear on that. And then also we have this ace being pulled up a little bit. So if you are recently transplanted, going back to the metaphor of a seed, give yourself time. Like aces can be like a 1 or a 10. So it could give yourself at least a month or up to like 3/4 of a year at least before something can be solidly like you're in or you're out. Okay. It's going to require a little bit more time. Now I'm going to do another reader's choice on this one. What do you need to know in this moment? Not what do you want to know, but what do you need to know about this path? Then we'll get into meditation. So we have a very different version of the Hierophant here, the Ancestor. In this moment of time, I'm going to pull the traditional card while we're talking because it's going to help. I feel like you could change an ancestral path. So this is something that cyclically has happened either in incarnations in your own lifetime or ancestrally in this familial group in which you were born, because both affect us, the bloodline and then our own incarnation. So in this moment in time, you get to march to the beat of your own drum, not the ancestral drum, but your own drum. You're saying, I am not solely my parents, their parents, their parents' parents, all of that. I am my own. I can take the best and release the not so best from that experience and do something completely different. And I kind of feel like you have like a round of applause from the ancestral line saying, finally someone is changing course. You are not doomed to repeat something that has happened in your family, a lack of luck with something. You are the turning point. You are the change. Be the change. Hierophants are very good at building. They're very good at structure. So you can have both of these qualities. You can be building something new and still be building something solid. So you don't have to throw everything out. What is it? The baby with the bathwater. That's a terrible phrase. Some of the turns of phrase, I'm like, where did that come from? So anyway, you don't have to toss it all out. You can salvage the best parts, build up on top of that, and make the best of it. But do get organized in this week ahead. Strategize, organize, clarify. All of that's going to be helpful. This was a great reading, folks. I mean, I feel like they're all fantastic, but this was especially magical. Topics help. You guys chose a really great one. I always try to like rotate them and try new things. So anyway, thank you. I think we collectively did a great job today. All right. Before we meditate, I hope you enjoyed this. Please, if you're brand new, hit that subscribe button. Let's get to the next milestone. Share this with someone else and comment when this goes on replay. Let me know how the week goes. You can comment a few times on this video. It helps the algorithm. It helps other people discover it because it's basically seen as something that is popular. So check in a couple times this week and let me know, especially with the 7-day forecast, what's resonating with you. Great way to help. Great way to let me know what's working for you. When this is done, you can follow me on social media. It's always my full name, Nicholas Ashbaugh. I already see that we've had a lot of people giving stickers. Feel free to do that before and after we meditate, and then I'll give you some shout outs at the end. Let's see. I think we have another week, so I'm going to save some of the next round of, I can gift only twice in a month, so I'll gift it next weekend. But thank you to everybody that's been gifting. Okay, let's meditate. We'll have one final question after this, so if you still have some burning question, save it, and we'll look at it then. The tree. I already remember. We're going to do the tree. Take a deep breath, let it go. And I'd like you to imagine that you are finding this beautiful tree in the forest, whatever kind of tree you want. Maybe it's an oak tree. Maybe it's a redwood. Maybe it's a weeping willow. I don't care. Find your tree. Imagine that you're in a forest of many types of trees because it's magical and it's in your mind. Find the one that is illuminated by the light and is resonant with your energy. As I look at it, I see a slightly magical or golden aura around it from the sun, but also maybe its own energy. And find a place where you can lean gently into the trunk. Maybe there's this nice little mossy, almost like built-in cushion against the trunk of the tree, and you lean into that. It's almost like you could melt into this ancient, sentient, I want to call it like being, but it's a tree. So lean into this being, though, I'm going to say. And as you connect with it, imagine that this is one of the trees that has been on the planet for maybe like a few thousand years. It's seen empires rise and fall. It's seen plagues. It's seen good moments. It's seen bad. It's lived through fires, through storms, through figurative moments where it feels like everything's ending, and then it's seen it all turn around again. So in this ancient, sustaining energy, you feel, I've also been through this. Not in this body, but I've been through this before. Together with the tree, remember your ancient wisdom of being through thick and thin, good and bad, and find this sense of resilience and strength that you forgot. Connect now with the energy of the tree. I mentioned it can be an antenna. Let's go first into the core of the planet. Like imagine that you can follow the roots deep, deep, deep into the crust of this planet, going almost, a couple layers into the mantle, feeling the sense that nothing can shake me, no storm can uproot me. Gently move to the very tips of the leaves and branches and feel the sun warming up your crown, the crown of the tree as well, and soak in the knowledge that needs to come in. It may not all make sense today, but as the week continues, you're going to get some clarity on the next steps. And gently coming back into your body, I'd like you to give a hug to the tree, saying thank you. Thank you for this knowledge. Thank you for this protection. And feel like the tree is hugging you right back. You're fine. You're going to be okay. You're stronger than you think. You've lived many lifetimes. Lean into the wisdom of those lifetimes. Now, it's an opportunity to look at a final question. It can be anything that you want. What do you still need guidance on? Okay, choices. If you ask me a yes or no, it's a little more nuanced, so I'm going to nuance it. It's yes, but you need to make good choices, and you probably can't have everything all at once. So we are looking at the Six of Pentacles from the vantage point of the person being asked, can I have more? So usually we see someone holding the scales with two people facing them. This is first person. It's the person looking at the people with the outstretched hands. The card was reversed. You can't be everything to everyone. And actually, they have a helper word, exploitation. Sometimes people will exploit your generosity. Sometimes you can sort of like extinguish your own internal battery. So it's important, it's vital this week to say no to some things. Even though you want to help everything and everyone and do everything and be everywhere, you can't. So you're going to have to make some choices. So this week it's important to have boundaries. And if you have a ton of people asking you for stuff, pick where you can make the biggest impact. If you're working for someone that wants the sun, the moon, and everything in between, you're going to say, this is what's possible. If you want more, I need this. You can negotiate. You can set expectations into a realistic vantage point. And saying no doesn't mean that you're mean. It means that you're trying to make sure that you can make it to the end of the week. It's not a sprint. It's basically a long distance run. So you have to save enough. And that means making choices along the way. And there are other doors where other people can go through. So you're just going to make some smart choices this week. For yourself, it's getting realistic. So if you want something, you may have to adjust when you want it or how much of it you want. So you're looking at the scope or size, you're looking at the timeline, or you're looking at how many resources are needed in order to make it happen. You might need some help. So one of those things or many of those things may be at play. So it's not a simple yes or no. There's some compromise involved. Hope that helped. But it does show balance once the compromise is met. Okay? Again, this was super magical today. So thank you. Every reading's different, and I do a lot of them, but I enjoyed this one today. So thank you. From my heart to yours. Thank you so much for being the best part of what I do here on YouTube. I'd like to take a couple of moments here to give gratitude. First of all, just to everyone for showing up. You have a lot of choices. You have a lot of things you could be doing today. Whether you're watching it live or on replay, you made my day. Thank you. All right, so let's take a couple of moments here to say thank you to those that gave back. All right. Aaron, thank you so much for gifting a membership. Same thing for Pauses and Passages. Raven, thank you for being you as well. I appreciate that, and thank you for showing up today. Renee, 30 months. Let's celebrate that. That is a great milestone, and 1,000 thank yous back to you too. Val, thanks for your sticker. I appreciate that. And we have another person that kindly gifted some memberships. Aaron, thank you for sending a membership to somebody new today. Water Girl, oh my goodness, 24 months, 2 years. Congrats. Thank you for 2 years of membership. And I understand you've been following longer, but yeah, memberships weren't always there. And I know not everybody can always be a member, so don't worry. I've seen you here. I appreciate your support. Thank you. And you were super kind. Look at you gifting 2 memberships as well. Thank you so much, and welcome to the people that just joined because of her. Okay, Colette, you gifted 5. Thank you so much. And thank you for being a longtime member. I see that little badge there as well. JJ, thanks for the $10. I appreciate that. Heather, thank you for your generosity in gifting a membership. Lucy, also thank you for your sticker and also for gifting right back. Look at you, Water Girl, another gifted one. Thank you very much. Believe in Magic also was kind enough to welcome somebody new. By the way, to all the new members, I just did a members only video where we looked at the shadow for retrograde. It's going to be good through the whole retrograde, so check it out. If you just joined, you can go to the members tab. You'll see a bonus video there immediately available to you. Heather, thank you for the sticker. I appreciate that. Alexandra, thank you also. And you're amazing too. Let's see. Rachel, thank you. Popcorn, much appreciated there. I'm glad that the need to leave now moment resonated. It's hard, right? It's hard when you have one of those moments, but you'll be fine. And hopefully today's reading gave you some stuff to navigate with. Monica and Amitabha and Yolanda, thank you all for the stickers. I appreciate those. I am Kat. Welcome, brand new member. You joined on your own. I appreciate that. Mel, Jeannie, and Rafaela, thank you guys for your stickers and your support. Let's see. It's touch and go, but I'm going to try to welcome all the newest members. YouTube just makes it difficult to do this. I have to kind of like read it fast and limit it. So let's see. I'll do my best. I've already welcomed many of you, but this is everyone, including those that have joined, rejoined, or received. Okay. Calculated Healing, Cora, Lizzie, My Tree Face, Miss Pierce, Kim, Morgan, I Am Kat, Mermaid Crystal, Queen, Amy, Alicia, D, let's see, Kufi or Cuffy, Linda, Handon, H, Johnson, and I think I got everybody. If I missed anybody, apologies. I did my best to try to pull them all out, but thank you. I think Queen, I might have forgotten that one. Welcome to all the new members and the ones that were gifted. Good to have you on board here. And I think I got all of the super stickers, but I'll just quickly glance and see if I missed anybody. I think I said yes, welcome to all of these people. Yes, I think I got all of them. So thanks to everybody. Rafaela, I think you just gave one, and Jeannie, and Mel, 30, and Yolanda. Maybe those were the last few ones. So thanks everybody for showing up today. From my heart to yours, I wish you a great week ahead. I appreciate your time here. Let's pull up Apollo really quickly. While I do that, subscribe if you haven't already. Hey, Apollo, let's say hi to everybody. Oh, who's a good boy? We'll end with Apollo, who looks so amazing, just got groomed. He's waking up from his nap and saying, Dad, seriously, you wanted to wake me up for this. But thank you, everybody. Take care of yourselves. I'm going to go walk this little lovely dog. And I'll see you again, same time, same place. Check out the main channel page for all of your monthly readings and your daily ones as well. Take care. Bye-bye.